This week in Bursa, we're going to be talking about Anwar visits China, Mr. DIY's share price dump, and Top Glove on fire. As a disclaimer, none of what we say should be taken as financial advice. This is purely educational. And as another disclaimer, we do not own any shares mentioned in the slides.
Hey guys, if you're interested in building a 6 to 7 figure portfolio using the power of stock investing, head over to the comment section or the description to sign up for our free masterclass so that we share with you exactly how we do it.
Okay, MJ.
Yep.
So Anwar visits China and MITI will potentially generate about 170 billion ringgit in potential foreign direct investment. And about 2.44 billion ringgit will be exporting to China.
Yes.
So that's actually quite a big news.
Yeah,
but I realized that the media doesn't really talk about it.
Really?
Which is unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the headlines are.
Yeah, I guess maybe my media is a bit more curated because I see it quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, what's great, one thing to take note is that it's potential FDI. So, sometimes we get a bit excited and you can see some of the prices of companies that are linked to China has already risen by a lot. Already break past the circuit breaker for today as of this recording. So now we know that the money potentially is coming in, but where is this money going to be invest in Malaysia sector? Yeah, so there will be several sectors actually, but no prizes for guessing which sectors these are. It's quite obvious. But maybe to set a frame or a context in terms of China's FDI, it has been trending downwards, right? Even before the 2018 election. And of course, in 2018, there's a big drop, as you can see, because, Tun Lam, our 4th and 7th Prime Minister, wasn't big fans, right, of China. Well, he never said it out loud, but we know, right, he cancelled a lot of projects. And, ever since then, there's been a general trend downwards, and Anwar seems to be someone who is very outward-looking, right? He loves the foreign media. He has a lot of foreign media friends as well, foreign friends as well. So that is, a reversal is coming for this, which on paper, right, definitely much better, much better than the past.
Yeah, and so far it's gonna be a healthy trend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, who will affect, sometimes it's hard to pinpoint, but there were several companies that actually followed Anwar in, to their China visit. Of course, some ministers like your Tengku Zafrus, your Anthony Loh, your Ngan Kong Mings followed Anwar, but then other companies like DRB Highcom, Zhejiang Gili, these are expected names. But the ones that are slightly less suspected would be Sansuria, LBS Bina, Prima is there as well. So they want to find cheap housing, how to build cheaper houses perhaps. And you can see, right, the share price has gone up, massive, right? Huge, especially for Sansuria. So there are some companies that, the market obviously have rewarded so far.
Yep. And as of today's recording, right, I think both of these companies that's mentioned here, which is Sansuria and LBS Bina, they are up 40% in just a single day after the announcement. Yeah, so that is
funny enough, they're both 47 cents. So interesting.
Exactly. Okay.
So another area that I noticed is aquaculture feed. So I believe some companies in Malaysia, especially drug companies, do actually, involved in this arena. But anyway, to point you guys, investors, in the right direction, any companies doing aquaculture feed, might be very interesting to look at. But exact effect you have to see on a company by company basis.
Right. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's another interesting fact. And then these are a few more sectors and the companies that may benefit from this FDI.
Correct.
So I noticed some familiar names, which
That's
is the tech I mean, the tech boys, which is Penta Master, Opstar, and the one that just recently got IPO'd, Vitrox, Unisem, and other besides tech. I see there is actually some retail and also some interesting sector, which is bird nest.
Yeah, Ines, this is I don't think they can do this in China, the bird nest stuff.
Right.
And, Malaysia is a hotspot. Malaysia, Indonesia, I think Thailand as well. It's a hotspot for bird's nest. And of course, the export to China is huge, right? It's a bit like durian.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why they're there. Before that, I want credit. I got these names from Do It, right? Friend of ours. They very hardworking. They got all these names out. So these are some of the usual suspects. The tech guys, Master Vitrox, all that. One thing that I found quite interesting was actually Jack Holding. So the two key industries that China and Malaysia wants to promote is tech and green technology. Jack Holding is quite interesting because they actually just recycle a lot of this semiconductor equipment.
Yeah, this is Jack Holdings, not Jax.
No, not Jax.
JAG.
Right? So that's something that really caught my eye, and it's a small cap. So very interesting. Parkson, I don't have a lot of hope for. I think we did a video maybe a couple of weeks back on Parkson. Oh wait, it's not out yet, the video.
I think it is not. No, I think not yet.
Yeah, it's not out yet, but we did a video on Parkson, so not too positive on it. Timber ink toner, okay lah, quite interesting. But yeah, these are the usual suspects, the names that can benefit from China.
Yeah, I think I don't think there's any more things to add over here. Because that so far the questions already answered. The companies that you may want to pay attention to are maybe these few. So the next one we're going to be looking at Mr. DIY.
But guys, before we move on, if you're someone looking to level up their stock investing skills and you need a lot more guidance, we do have a one-on-one program called the Mentorship Program. If you're interested, you can apply it in the comment section or the description.
So this is interesting because recently there was a dump in share price, about 7% in a day. So I believe
still 15 billion market cap.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I believe the reason why it dropped is because the Mr. Credo decided to exit most of their position. But if let's say you are looking through their financials, right, their fundamentals are pretty still solid.
Yep,
it's still growing. So it's nothing much to do with the fundamentals. And hence, I believe when today's video is out, you notice that Mr. DIY share price also started going up already. Yeah, as of today's recording. So this is how they actually dump their share price. Of course, they cannot sell it on the market price. They need to sell it at a very attractive price in order to exit a large amount of shares. So this is how they do it. They basically sold it everything via private placement.
Yes.
And this is the stats over here, which is by the Edge. So thanks the Edge for the stats. So they sold about 464 million shares at 1 ringgit and 43 cents. So I believe back then was around 1 ringgit and 50 to 60 cents. So it was like a 10 to 20% discount. And then 360 million shares are bought by institution investors. And then 104 it is bought by Mr. DIY, the directors themselves, and also some of the management of Credo. So yeah, although there's like a temporary drop, I believe this is just a very short or very small problem only.
Yeah, which
has nothing to do with fundamentals. So, but it is an opportunity. Who knows, right? I mean, if you look at today's share price, it's actually just bumped up a bit.
Yeah, some of our team members suggested that it is because they do not want to be draw the attention of SC in the the IPO in another company that is it the body
Jaya Grocer.
Another company that may put that other company in the KLCI 30, so they would in fact be controlling, right? Because we know Creador usually invests only where they can have a controlling stake or a much larger stake. And so they will be having two companies that they control in the KLCI 30.
And then it's like more of like a very, I don't say monopoly, but they are at a very high up, the leader of that particular retail industry. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether this is a rule or what. Or
I don't know if it's a rule, but certainly it's quite a smart business practice, especially in Malaysia. Because when you get like too powerful, that's when you start to have a lot of eyeballs on you, right? And then of course, a lot of the creator companies that IPO tend to do very well, right? The other one is Citos. And yeah, I think it's if that is the case, it's quite a smart move, but we'll see.
Yep.
All right, guys, enjoying the video so far? If the answer is yes, remember, like, comment, subscribe. And as far as comments go, if you don't like the video, do let us know as well. We always take all sorts of feedback as long as they're constructive.
Okay, so next one is going to be interesting because a certain factory is on fire, and that is Top Glove.
Yes.
And once that news actually came out, right, the company share price also start to drop a little bit. This is about 2.59%. It's not really that bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. And so basically this is based on MIDF's research. So they actually calculated how much it will affect Top Glove's production. So about 60% of their production capacity will be like sort of affected. So now this capacity, right, is about 3.2 billion pieces. That particular factory in Lukut plant, and it is about 4% of the total capacity of the 80 billion pieces. So assuming these 3.2 billion pieces you cannot like make it ready, right? So that's like roughly 1.9 billion pieces of the glove will be gone, or around 181 million worth of sales. So that is somewhere around like less than 7% of the total sales will be gone. And then, but the good thing is that they have fire insurance. So they claim that they can actually potentially cover the entire losses. So that's actually an interesting thing lah. And it's also, we were joking with our Telegram member, right? Like this is like one of the way to solve the oversupply issue.
Or get rid of old material. So this reminds me a lot of Notion VTech, because back in the day, this was maybe 5 years ago, they also had a fire issue, right? And theirs, was much bigger, because they have 2 factories only. One burned down, right? And then the price dropped by 40-50%.
Oh, that's overreaction.
But there were 2 things that made it a viable investment. And I say this because I bring Notion because to show you why it was relevant for that company and probably less relevant for Top Glove, is that, like I said, it's 1/2 of their entire production. And what was interesting is that particular factory that Notion had was actually consisted of their older equipment, and everything is older. Right. So it was, I guess, somewhat good thing. This is great. And then the money that they get from the insurance, right, actually would push their cash balance above their market cap, because the market cap dropped by half, but then after that, I think the stock rallied 60-80%, right? So
that's a good arbitrage opportunity lah.
So but the same thing can't really happen to Top Glove, right? Because how much can they claim for this particular factory, right? This is less than 7%
of the revenue
of sales. So let's say, even if they got back 200, 300, 400, 500 million, it adds to them, but they're already a $7 billion company. It would be interesting if their fire insurance is like 5 billion. Okay. You know what I mean? Then I'll be like, that would be interesting.
But that will only be that will only happen if, let's say, 50% or more than that of their production capacity is on fire lah.
And look, what are you building, right? If you have a 5 billion ringgit factory, right? That's just huge. So if you feel like we wasted our time, so sorry, but honestly, this is not, it's of course sad whenever there's fire, and it's great that no one got hurt. But really, as an investor, there's not too much we can do.
All right. So this is the final takeaway. Okay. So basically, this one is from the Anwar visits the China's FDI. So at the moment, that's more talk, less than action. But then there will be good times ahead. That's because everything is just on paper right now. Nothing is done yet. So don't be too excited. Although you see some companies already rallied because of this news, which is
look, it's 170 billion, but our latest 2022 figures is I believe, around 12 billion US dollars. So if you spread it out 10 years, right, that's 17 billion a year. So don't look at this 170 billion and think, well, they're going to pump in 170 billion right now. So it's going to enter our economy just like that.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. But it is a, step in the right direction. I think that it's very, very beneficial. All I hope is that this doesn't become like a political weapon, right? Oh, look at that, Anwar is currying favors with China. Then the majority in this country will start to feel insecure, and then we are all back to the whole communal politics again. I think that is a potential risk, right? Which is why you could say one of the reasons why Mahathir got some sort of support to push PH over in 2018 is because he took all these actions which could be perceived by some people as, oh, you're defending our interests,
right?
Fairly or not.
So the second one would be Mr. DIY's share price dump. I believe this is just a temporary problem. As you can see in today's share price, as of today's recording, it actually went up a little bit. And then
to clarify, yes, it's a temporary problem. In fact, it's not really.
It's not really a problem, yeah.
But don't get the impression that therefore it's going to go up and it's a good investment. There are other factors, right? I think we've mentioned in previous videos that I think valuation has always been a problem for DIY, and also growth potential. They both are failing at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Growth potential is not quite there, and valuation.
Yeah, and the last point we have here is about topless on fire, right? So I believe this one is going back to the same thing that we mentioned and highlight a lot in our previous video, which is about the supply and demand. So right now, the supply is still more than demand. However, inventory levels are going back to normality, according to topless management. So you see how it will play out in the next few quarters, whether the numbers will be much more better. So
we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. So that's about it. And before you guys go, this is the March 2023's performance.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but if you notice, there's one of our stock is almost like 2x already. So that's about 96.7%, which is pretty good. But right now, instead of 2 stocks, we got 3 stocks that is on the red. But even so, our portfolio, everything is quite resilient. I mean, if you notice that, so far about the gains. And then we also added and changed a few companies in our Telegram portfolio. So this is already notified and shared among our Telegram group members. However,
they get the information right.
Right. Yes,
pronto.
exactly. So this is the performance right now. I believe these few rates at this recording is actually in the green right now. But this one is in March, so I could update. But we shall see in the next few weeks or maybe even months when I update whether it will be on the green or not. So that's it for FIRL Pro. It's basically we give you the stock reports for you to read in less than 10 minutes or maybe even 15 minutes. Just a cup of coffee for you to understand the entire company. In just that amount of time. So which is pretty good. And if you're still not convinced, we have a free sample for you. So check it out. So the links to this free sample is in the description and comments down below. And guys, just to announce you a little bit stuff, it is that we may potentially rise price for
actually we will.
We will.
The price is going up because so many people really like what we do so far. And we will announce soon probably when that will happen. We haven't finalized when that will happen. So just want to let you guys know.
Just want to let you guys know first. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the entire video of this format on This Week in Bursa. I saw there's a few positive comments about it. So we'll few more of this kind of format lah. And make sure to check out our other videos. We have tons of videos in our channel, so make sure to watch all of them. Like and subscribe for more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those good stuff. The links are in the description below, and see you next week.
Peace.